Hello everybody, welcome back to Flip City with Mr. Chris. I'm Mr. Chris. In this video, I'm going to go over some items that I sourced this week, but I'm also going to give you guys some sourcing tips and tricks that really work well for me to find good items. I'm going to show you guys the 4 keys that I use to decide if an item is something I should pick up or leave behind. And I'm also going to cover 3 tips that will really help you while you're out there sourcing to be able to pick up some more good stuff and have a better, more enjoyable experience. So before I jump into what I picked up, I wanted to give you a little background about how I source. I go to the Goodwill bins every weekend, and I go to Salvation Army on Wednesdays, half off. That's part of my sourcing. I do it part-time, so I need to be very efficient with where I'm going and what I'm picking up. So 4 keys, right, to decide if I should pick something up or not, and I'll give you them each item. But these are going to be the 4 keys. If you're out there sourcing, if you're new to sourcing, you're new to flipping, you're not really sure what to pick up, you know all the regular name brands that everybody else knows, right? But how do you know if it's something you should pick up or leave behind? I'm going to tell you. The first thing I'm looking for when I find something is the brand, okay? So let's start with this one. This brand is Timbuktu. So I'm really familiar with Timbuktu brand because I sell bags, because like I told you, I'm the bag man, right? So right off the bat, I see this bag at the bins and I know, all right, that's a good bag. The next thing I'm looking for, pattern. All right, so brand, pattern, the crazier pattern, the brighter pattern, the more unique, the more rare, the better. Okay, so already this has 2 of my keys, right? Material, not so much for this. There are some bags that have good material, like think Tumi, right? That's going to be amazing leather, great quality. But for this bag, material wasn't really one of my keys that I really needed to consider. And size. So you might not think it, but there's multiple sizes in messenger bags. And this is just the standard regular size. Pretty good size, as you can see. Go to work, go to school. All right. So this checks off 3 of my 4 keys, right? I got the brand, Timbuktu. I got this crazy pattern, and it's a good quality size. So this bag should get me about $30 on eBay. All right, so let's get into the next item. Let's go over the 4 keys. So the first key, brand, right? What brand do we got here? Patagonia. Already, we're doing good. That's a great brand to pick up. Be on the lookout for Patagonia. If you thrift already, you know that. If you're just getting started, that's a great outdoor brand to pick up. Pattern, nothing great on these, right? Just a faded gray denim jean. Same thing for the material. Nothing basic. I mean, nothing crazy, just some organic cotton here. But the size is a really good size for men. 32 waist, all right? So these are hitting 2 of my 4. But because Patagonia is such an easy selling brand, I went ahead and picked them up, even though they're not a crazy pattern. I should get about $30 for that pair of jeans, all right? Sticking with Patagonia, right? You'll notice that some brands, I don't need to check off all 4 of my keys, all right? But here we go, basic Patagonia, what is this? Basic Patagonia micro fleece. Now, we got the brand Patagonia, right? Pattern. Actually, for these, this is not a bad pattern. Just a plain black, easy to sell. Everybody's looking for these, right? The size is great on this one, extra large. A lot of the times, the bigger the size is, the better, okay? So Patagonia, it's good material, but all Patagonia stuff is great material. That's why it's so expensive, right? So pick this up. You should be able to get $25, $30 easily for this extra large Patagonia micro fleece, okay? All right, another brand that you've heard of, everybody's known, a lot of resellers love this brand, Polo Ralph Lauren, right? So right off the bat, we recognize the brand. Pattern, okay, here we go. This is a crazy pattern. It's plaid, but it's multiple colors, so it really pops and it stands out. Also for Polo patterns, the pony matters, right? I think this is called the flesh pony, where it's just all regular colors instead of one solid color. And then the material is just cotton, but here's something I learned about these Polo Ralph Lauren shirts. The Oxford shirts, where the collar buttons down, seem to do way better for me. All right, so we're already doing good. We got Polo, easily recognizable brand. Crazy, bright, colorful pattern, and it's spring, so that's going to be awesome. All right, material, it's just cotton, so nothing there. But the size, guys, 2XL. You'll see I have 2 of these. I'll show you guys the other one, but these go easily $25 and up, okay? Depending on how how long you're willing to wait and hold on to them. You might be able to get a little bit more, but $25. Here's another one. You notice, same thing, all right? Polo Ralph Lauren, size 2XL, plaid, not as wild of plaid, but still has the flesh pony right there, okay? And again, the material, nothing great. So this is hitting on 3 of my 4 keys. It's a good brand, it's a great pattern, and it's an amazing size, all right? Now this is gonna be a little bit off of my norm. I don't usually pick up this brand at all. Disney, I don't do well with it. I don't really know too much about what's good in Disney and what's not. There's so much Disney stuff out there. I just don't really have the time and patience to like learn all about the brand. But the reason I picked this one up, right? Let's take a look. It is Disney, so it's popular, but check this out, guys. New with tag, okay? The material is corduroy and it's embroidered, all right? And the size is an extra large. So the brand being Disney, no big deal, but it's Disney new with tag, and this is vintage. I think it's from the late 90s, early 2000s, according to all the other ones that I looked up. This is the Seven Dwarfs embroidery on a corduroy shirt, XL. All right, so there you go, 3 of the 4 keys, not bad. All right, sticking with brands that I don't normally pick up. I think I've only sold like 2 Under Armour things ever. A pair of shoes and a hoodie. So the brand, not so great for reselling, all right? But there's a couple things that I liked about it. The pattern, right? It's golf season coming up. So it's a golf shirt. It's that dry fit material. What is heat gear is what Under Armour calls it. Nike is dry fit, but you know the material, right? It's not cotton, so it's not gonna stick to you, not gonna get all sweaty. But here's the reason I picked this one up. It's a great size, okay? It's an extra large. It's a really bright green color, and it's Notre Dame Fighting Irish. It's not just an Under Armour shirt. It's an Under Armour college shirt. Polo shirt for golf. So if you went to Notre Dame or you're a big Notre Dame football fan or something like that and you golf, this is going to be great. All right. So again, 3 of the 4 keys. The material is perfect, especially if you live somewhere hot. I live in Florida. That's perfect. But anywhere that it's hot, spring and summer is coming up. Everybody's getting out there to golf, right? They just had the Masters, right? The green. All right. So that should get $25. I saw 2 exactly like this, sold $25. All right. So in all honesty, I'm a huge Angels fan, so this is why this caught my eye. But it still has a lot of good stuff going on for it, okay? The brand is called Stitches. They kind of do like throwback specialty sports teams gear, all right? So this is just a V-neck like Angels jersey from when they were in Anaheim. Not the LA Angels, but it's the Anaheim Angels. Material, you're not really going to get away from polyester on sports jerseys, so kind of skip that one, right? So brand, Stitches, material, The pattern is very cool. It's this like huge embroidery with a color block. Got some patches right here on the side, and it's a great size again. This is a large, but it's oversized. Look how big it is, right? Baseball season just started, so this should be an easy sell, guys. $25, $30 right there. All right. So I told you guys I'm going to give you 3 tips and tricks. One of the tips that I have for you is something that's really worked out well for me over the years. It's just be curious, especially about brands. Just something that catches your eye. Look it up. Take your time. Be patient. Take your time. Be curious and look it up. Check out that crazy graphic. It's a huge like Black Widow spider on a red blood moon. And I just found this in the hoodie Salvation Army Wednesday night. $4. No big deal, right? Res. So I don't know what res means, so I look it up. Apparently it's a DJ, all right? And there's a bunch of this exact hoodie listed. The prices are all over the place, but I did find one res hoodie that sold for $45. So it's safe to say that this should go for $45 to $60. I think someone had one listed for like $75. I don't think I could get that. But be curious, guys, all right? Again, the brand for this one's not a big deal. This is just one of the unique items, something you're not really going to find a lot of, but it caught my eye. The pattern, right? This is a huge graphic. You can see it from a mile away. So definitely be on the lookout for that kind of music festival stuff, band tees, band sweatshirts, concert. DJs apparently have their own line of stuff. All right, here we go. So there's a brand everybody knows, right? Pepsi. If you grew up like I did in the 90s, Did you take the Pepsi challenge, right? Where they secretly had to drink the 2 little cups and decide which one you liked better. Was it Pepsi or Coke? But they didn't tell you. I took it and I failed. I said Coke was better. But anyway, this is it's kind of like a dry fit material also. It's a Pepsi branded quarter zip. It has these like dots on the top. And on the sleeve here, it says PEP plus, right? Big Pepsi spell out on the back. Size isn't the greatest. It's a medium, but it is oversized, probably because it's like a quarter zip and it's meant to be wore over something. But there are sold comps for these, $35 to $40. Scooped that up at the bins, probably paid $2 for that. All right, so that's a great one right there. Okay, so I'm a big sports fan, right? Go Lakers. Playoffs are getting started. Go Angels. And I love soccer. I grew up playing soccer. I used to coach soccer. I absolutely love soccer. So right away, I saw this at Salvation Army. It was $6 normally, but I went on half off Wednesday. So this is just $3. Very crazy looking, almost like graffiti or writing all over it, drawing, doodling, whatever. And I had no idea what it is. Okay, so that's one of my tips and tricks. Be curious, right? You see something that looks unique and you might like it, look it up. You got Google Lens, you have sold comps. There's a lot of different ways you can figure out what something is. All right, so this is like a Thailand soccer league jersey. Okay, so the brand I've never heard of, but the pattern is very unique, right? It's not just a basic jersey. It's a good color. Black is pretty solid. The size for this one's not the greatest. This is a small, not great, right? I don't think adult smalls are very good, but because it's so unique, like you're probably never gonna find another one of these at Salvation Army or Goodwill bins or something. And I looked it up. I should get about $25 to $30 for it. The material is super light. It's like a soccer jersey material, like dry fit. So very cool. Check that out if you're interested. Speaking of the Pepsi challenge, there's Coca-Cola representing on the jersey, right? Let's put them right next to each other. Hope they don't fight. All right, here we go. Sometimes you'll find a brand that is really popular for, say, like shoes or clothes or something, and you find the same brand but in something totally different. This is an example of that. I've heard of Frye boots, Frye. I had no idea that they made clothes. Okay, so at the bins, my son found this, sent it over to me. It's a cotton canvas. It's almost like an ivory color. You see my shirt's white, and this is just like a little bit off-white or something. It's a women's like biker jacket, canvas biker jacket. It's pretty crazy. Got all these buttons and zippers. It has this belt at the bottom. It's very good quality material. All right, so the brand, right? Frye, great brand. Pattern, not necessarily the pattern on this, but the jacket with the zippers all over the place and the buttons, very stylized. All right, the material is a very thick, like work canvas jacket kind of material, almost like Carhartt. Think Carhartt. And then the size, that's pretty good size, large, right? So got a lot going on for that one. Definitely scoop that up. $40 for that. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to get into some athleisure brands that you guys may or may not know about. The interesting thing about some of these athleisure brands, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, to find the brand is almost impossible. This looks just like a very nondescript generic shirt, but as you start sourcing and the more you thrift and the more you resell, the more you start to recognize little tiny details, okay? So on these Lululemon men's polo shirts, I'm not sure if you can see it very well, but you're gonna look for these 3 lines. They're stitched right on the seam right here, 3 vertical lines. So that's one thing. And sometimes they'll either have this tag at the bottom, which is kind of sewn over the edge, or they'll have their logo like screened on there, right? Another little tip for Lululemon, some of these shirts will have this writing at the bottom seam, all right? So the brand Lululemon, still a great brand. A lot of people say it's not as good as it used to be, but look, it's a really good, easy sell, all right? Maybe you don't get as much as you used to, but you're still gonna sell it quickly and make decent money. So first off, brand, Lululemon, right? Pattern, solid. They don't really have too many crazy patterns, to be honest, especially for like the menswear. Material, I don't know what Lululemon material is, but I know that it's super soft, really nice and comfy, right? That's part of the reason that they sell their stuff for such a high price. and the size. I took a measurement from the pit to pit and the length. If you go to lululemon.com, you can actually get their size chart. The only problem with Lululemon is they usually have this long, skinny black tag. If you're lucky enough to have the tag in there, you'll know the size. On shirts, a lot of people rip it out. It's not going to be marked anywhere else. On the pants, sometimes they'll have a little circle sticker in the pockets, and then you can pick up the information you need there, all right? This Lululemon Polo should get me $20 to $30, all right? Again, $3 at the bins. $3 Salvation Army, $20, $30. Okay, so a couple videos ago, right, my curiosity, which was one of my tips for you guys, be curious, all right? I found something that had an interesting logo, so I looked it up, this ram's head. And then I looked at the brand, Kuiu. I totally mispronounced it last time. I have no idea how to pronounce it this time. If anybody knows, let me know. Leave it in the comments or let me know how to say it. I have no idea. But what this is, it's like an outdoor hunting kind of brand, similar to Kuiu, maybe a little similar to Patagonia. This is like a wool, a special wool. And at the very bottom, there's two tags, one with the logo and one that says New Yarn, N-U-Y-A-R-N. All right, so right away I recognized the brand, picked it up. The pattern, nothing crazy. If you're a hunter though, this might be a great colored pattern for you. The material is amazing. It's hard to explain what it feels like. It's very soft, but not too thin. And it's wool, but it's not itchy at all. You know, wool sometimes has like an itchy feeling to it. At least for me, I'm like a little bit allergic to wool, so I can't really wear it. It makes me, wool is kind of itchy. All right, so the brand, good brand, Kuiu. The pattern, not a big deal. The material is great. And the size, it's a large. So 3 out of the 4 things of the keys going for it, right? Good brand, great material, and a good size. Definitely scoop that up. I got this at City Thrift. I paid $4 for that. Not a bad deal, right? I should be able to sell this for $30. Again, like I said, I'm not just guessing on these. I do the research and make sure I see sold comps, and then I'll put them up here so you guys know for sure, all right? Here's another athleisure brand you may or may not be aware of. If you are, good for you. That's a good find, good bolo. If you're not, check it out, guys. ASRV, okay? Has these wings, that's their logo. I don't know if they sell it in stores. It's probably just online. And I'm not, honestly, I don't remember where I first saw it, but it caught my attention and I looked it up. And this is a great shirt. It's very lightweight. This is the model number here on this like rubber sign. It says Relentless Pursuit. It's just a light mesh tank top. So the brand is great. The pattern, it's just a basic black pattern, but it does have this motivational, I guess, right? Saying on the front. The material is amazing. It's super lightweight. So summertime, if you're running, you want to go to the gym, you want to go work out, go for a run, go to the beach, the pool, this is going to be great material. And the size, so here's the crazy thing. This says it's a medium. It's gigantic. So I'm guessing this brand just has their stuff oversized. All right. The biggest key thing this had going for it was the brand, ASRV. If you see that brand, scoop it up. For this thin little tank top, I'm going to get $25 to $30. So that is a great pickup right there. All right, so another very recognizable brand, the North Face, right? Brand new, all their stuff is crazy expensive. Resale, not so much. It's kind of all over the place, depends on what it is. This backpack is good because I'll explain the 4 keys to this and why I picked it up. 1, the brand, the North Face, all right? 2, this is a great pattern. Eye-catching, it's fun. It almost looks like Minecraft, but like pink and purple hues, all right? It's a good size. It's just like a good school backpack. Has a couple different sections inside. It's got these side water bottle holders along with these little, I don't know what these are, adjustable little tags. Anyway, I always do really good with bags. I love bags. I'm the bag man. I'll tell you guys over and over again. Don't skip the bags. They're great. You can find some really good deals. This is $5 at half off Salvation Army Day. And I could get $25 to $30 for this backpack. All right. Might not sell as fast as I'd like, but it's definitely going to sell. All right. So remember these 4 keys, guys. They're going to help you find amazing items and pick up new items that you might not have ever thought to pick up or had no idea about. Look for the brand first, okay? A brand you recognize, or maybe it's an interesting brand you've never seen before. So the first thing is the brand. Then the pattern. Is it a wild and crazy, bright, eye-catching pattern? That's a great plus, all right? The material. Is it wool? Is it like a Lululemon athleisure? Make sure it has like a good quality material. That's just another bonus. And then the size, right? We're trying to sell to as many people as possible. The bigger sizes, the better. They seem to sell for a little bit more money. Okay, so brand, pattern, material, size. Got it? And the last 3 tips I have for you guys, they're gonna seem like common sense, but I go out to the thrift stores all the time, and I go thrifting to Goodwill and the bins, and I see other resellers and just regular people thrifting. I don't really see them doing these things. And if you do these things, I guarantee you'll have a better experience and people will be a lot more willing to help you out, right? 1, just be curious. Look around. That's why you go out for, right? Look at everything you can. Look at all the brands. Look at all the sections. Look at the bags. Look at the hats, the shoes, the women's, the men's, right? Don't just narrow yourself down to one area. Be kind, because these people that work there, that's their job, right? Maybe they're having a good day. Maybe they're not having a good day, but whatever. But be kind to these people because they can help you out. If you're like me and like most resellers, you're probably hitting up the same places over and over and over and over again, right? So get to know the workers. Be nice to them. Maybe they'll throw you a little bonus. Maybe they'll save something for you. Maybe they can just show you where all the good stuff is, right? Or maybe they'll just make it a better experience for you while you're there because they're not angry. They're nice. They look forward to seeing you. Shout out to Miss Annette at Salvation Army. Every Wednesday we see her. So nice, super friendly, always excited to see us, right? So shout out Miss Annette. And the last thing is just be patient, right? Just be patient. This is the hardest one for me. Sometimes I go and I don't find anything. We went to the bins this weekend. Something was broken in the back. They couldn't bring out very much stuff. We didn't have very good luck. Honestly, probably one of the worst bins trips I've ever had. Just be patient. We just went somewhere else, found some other stores, picked up some items, still ended up with enough stuff to sell and list, all right? So I really appreciate everybody. I've had a lot of new subscribers recently, so thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying it. So put a comment. If you could only resell one brand, what brand would it be? Put it in the comments and let me know. Until next video, guys. See you later.